Road apples.
That is a term that not only is it the name of a tragically hip album, which I highly recommend you listen to. God bless you, Gord Downie, rest in peace. It is also a term that has been used in the House of Commons in Canadian politics, but it's imagine a horse going down the street, and horses go wherever they want, and they drop a number 2 on the street, and when you're driving over that's what's known as a road apple.
Or cow pie, right?
Well, so a cow pie, yeah. So, I mean, one comes from a horse, one comes from a cow, and they, without getting too graphic, they clump differently when they hit the ground.
One's more like a splat, one's more like a puck.
Kinda, yeah. And so I remember hearing stories from my uncles who grew up on the Raisin River, pardon me, and they didn't have pucks. I mean, like, vulcanized rubber was not something that you could just go get at your corner store, right? And so when wintertime would roll around, you'd wait for the cow pies to freeze, and then you'd take them out on the pond, and that's what you'd use to move around the rink until you hit it too hard, and it hit something, and it exploded, and then you'd go grab another one.
Could you imagine being the goalie, you get smacked in the face? They didn't have any masks back in the early 1900s. You get smacked in the face with frozen horse dung.
It was cow dung. Cow dung. Cow pies. But the good news is that it would be, think of like putting a chocolate bar in a freezer. If that was to break, it breaks off in shards. It doesn't like splat and stay on. It breaks off like ice. That was the good news.
I know, but that's still nasty to be a goalie and you're getting smacked in the face with frozen
Sure
horse.
It is. Absolutely.
But what a time, though. Honestly, they probably came up with it at a time like where we are today, where it's minus 30 outside, freezing cold, get in the pond, little stick and puck, shoot the frozen horse turds, and then play some outdoor pond hockey. And then they're like, you know what? It'd be better instead of being on shoes, let's make skates. And that's how hockey came to be.
Now,
it was in Montreal, was it not? That's where they founded hockey?
That is very contentious. There are rumors about it being over in Scandinavia as well, some of the northern parts of Russia, here in Canada as well. So it has a very vast, but the Canadians get the credit for kind of making what the modern game is. But it's interesting because Canada has 2 national sports, hockey being one, lacrosse being the other one. And I'm going to go on my best memory, and please feel free to fact check me on this one. But from what I understand, lacrosse was played from village to village. And it wasn't necessarily like, hey, we're going to play on this pitch today. It was literally, the idea was, I'm probably going to get a lot of this wrong, but from what I understand from my memory, and this is going back a while, they would play with the head of a corpse in their netting, and you had to take that head and bring it over to the other village.
What kind of corpse? Body? A human?
Yeah, like a human head.
Oh, boy.
That's what they would use as their ball.
Bob would want this. This is what he wants.
And then like, I don't know if it was a skull or whatever, but it was something round, and it was a lot easier to do that because they would create the nets and whatnot, and they would use those from fishing, and that's kind of how lacrosse started. So it comes from very humble origins. I mean, even golf goes back to just stick and an acorn, something as simple as knock it in the hole. So, I mean, the origins of all these sports. I've always said that baseball is just a really poorly explained version of cricket, and American football is just a really poorly explained version of rugby. You know what I mean? It's just it's like the old telephone game. Like I tell you a sentence, and then you go telling somebody else, and you go tell somebody else. By the time it gets to the third or fourth person, the story has changed. Same thing with sports. I mean, from its inception, the genesis of the game to where it is now is completely different. And if you were to fly somebody like Henry Ford, who created the automobile, to what he's seeing today, he probably would have went, I'm not making that anymore. This is not what I had in mind. So probably the same thing with sport.
How much do you want to bet the origins of the actual physicality in hockey was, I just want to cross-check the village asshole and just give him a CFB. Check from behind, just give him 2.
Well, look, I've spent enough time in Mexico that they played a game down in the Mayan history where the winning team, and I found this kind of interesting, and I equated it to modern day, but the winning team would sacrifice their best player to the gods, right? But in a weird way, you think about it, it's like, all right, you beat us, you got to give up your best player to equal things out a little bit. So the next time we play, it kind of balances out. You won, your best player's gone. You can't use him anymore. And it was an honor. It was an honor for them to sacrifice themselves as the winner. They'd be like, yes, we won. Goodbye, everyone. I get to go down in the history books as a winner.
Imagine they're having morning skate. They're having their pre-meetings and kind of like semi-pro Will Ferrell. We want to win, but not by too much. What do you mean? No.
Okay, guys, let's go for a tie tonight. Tie's good.
Hey, 125 points. We got to give everybody here a free corn dog. Fakaida's got to sacrifice himself. We don't want to win by too much. 1-0.
No, that guy still owes me 20. We can't win this game.
Imagine being the goalie. You don't want to make too many saves. Oh, sorry, guys. Guess I'm not the best player tonight.
Darn it, I got a hat trick. What was I thinking? I got a wife and kids at home.
And he's dead. What an idiot. More for us.
Hey, every Sunday a new podcast goes up, but if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, there's clips everywhere and just segmented stuff on your favorite players. Go subscribe to Slang and the Biscuit. You can click these boxes because who doesn't like clicking boxes?